All About the Angels is a book by Father Paul O'Sullivan, recorded with permission of Father Diarmuid Clifford of the Apostolate of St. Martin de Porres, Dublin, Ireland. Why ignore our best friends? Make friends with the angels is the advice which the great Pope St. Leo gives every Christian, and it is advice that everyone should follow. If we make friends with the angels, and nothing is easier, we shall receive innumerable and great favors, which otherwise we shall never obtain. Our angel friends, too, will shield and protect us from countless dangers, evils, sickness, and accidents, which without their help we could not possibly avoid. In a word, these all-powerful and loving protectors will secure for us a degree of happiness that without their assistance we could not hope for in this vale of tears. Another reason we should make friends with the angels is that they are our dearest and best friends. A good friend, a friend who is able and always ready to help us, a friend to whom we can have recourse in all our troubles and sorrows, is one of the greatest blessings God can give us. Our human hearts thirst for love and sympathy. Among men, we rarely or never find such a friend, but this is not so with the angels. They are most desirous to be our friends, and they love us with all the intensity of their angelic natures. Since they are all-powerful and generous, we can have the fullest confidence in their help and friendship. The one friendship on this earth that gives us any idea of the love of the angels is the affection of a mother. This is the purest, the most generous, the strongest of all human loves. The mother loves her children with unbounded affection. God has placed in the mother's heart an instinct of love so great that it almost borders on the supernatural. She forgets herself and thinks only of her children. She works for them, sacrifices herself for them, and gives them her all. If one of them should fall sick or be plunged into some great sorrow, to that one she devotes a more special gentleness and a more loving care. We sometimes see a frail woman watch by the bedside of her sick child, eating little, resting little, consumed with a poignant anxiety for 10, 20, even 30 days, never complaining, never faltering. When these days of anguish and bitterness have passed, this almost superhuman effort, these long, weary vigils, seem to have cost her nothing. The mother's love sustained her. Yet strong men who lose their sleep for 2 or 3 consecutive nights complain that they find it hard to work the following day. If a poor, frail mother, she may be young or old, rich or poor, full of weaknesses and imperfections, can rise to such a height of love and abnegation as this, what may not we expect from God's angels, who have no defects, no imperfections, and who love us with all the mighty power of their glorious angelic natures? The teaching of the Church about the angels is most beautiful and consoling, but unfortunately many Christians have scant knowledge of the great world of the angels. They know little about these blessed spirits, love them little, and seldom pray to them. Worst of all, they do not realize their presence. They show no confidence in them, and they do not call on them for help when dangers and difficulties press around. As a result, they forfeit 1,000 blessings that they might easily enjoy, and fall victim to 1,000 accidents that they might easily have avoided. How comes it that the angels are so little known and so little loved? simply because many, whose duty it is to teach this most important doctrine, are gravely negligent in fulfilling their obligation. First of all, Christian mothers should instill deeply into the minds of their children a clear, vivid, and abiding sense of the presence of their dear angels. It is not sufficient to give them vague, hazy, insufficient notions of these blessed spirits, nor is it enough to teach them to say a short prayer at morning and at night to their angel guardians. They should devote much time and much attention to this all-important subject. Children must be taught constantly from their tenderest years to have a real love and friendship for their angels, to have boundless confidence in them. They must be accustomed to feel and realize the personal presence of their angels, to call on them in all their fears and troubles. How much better this would be than that children should have their heads filled with foolish fears of ghosts and goblins, as so frequently happens. Mothers who impress on their children this great lesson confer on them inestimable blessings during all the long years of their lives. On the other hand, if they neglect this duty or make light of it, they do a great wrong to their dear ones, for they deprive them of the best and most powerful friends. Catechists, too, and teachers of the young in schools, colleges, and convents are frequently remiss in teaching those in their charge all about the blessed angels. The minds of their pupils are developing, and the teaching of the mothers in the home, no matter how good it might have been, must be perfected and developed. Professors of older students, boys and girls, are perhaps greater offenders. They rarely mention the subject of the angels in their classes. Why? Do not the angels exist? Are they not our best friends? Is there not much to be said about them? Priests, of course, can do much to remedy the neglect of parents and teachers, by preaching at times on the angels, by wise counsels in the confessional, and by exhorting the faithful to read books on the angels. Priests who do so receive most striking graces. The object of this book. There are few books published about the angels, and these few are mostly doctrinal and abstruse. They do not appeal to the general public, and fail to create in the heart of the ordinary reader that love and trust which they ought to have in the angels. It is so different in the case of the saints. There are innumerable books attractively written about these great servants of God, which help us to know them, to love them, and follow their example. There are also pictures of all kinds, large and small, of the saints, which we hang on our walls, place on our work tables, or use in our prayer books. We thus live, as it were, in the presence and company of the saints. Pictures of the angels are few, and to a certain extent misleading, because the angel is, as a rule, represented as guiding little children, whereas adults should, with equal reason, be reminded of their angels and have suitable pictures of them. In the sacred scriptures, angels are pictured as helping Abraham and Jacob, Elias and Daniel, Agar and Judith, Peter and Paul, all of them adults. The object of these pages is to awaken in the hearts of our readers a real love and friendship for the holy angels, an abiding confidence in them, and above all, to make readers realize and feel vividly the presence of these loving spirits ever by their sides. Our plan. At the cost of inverting the natural order of our book, we will commence by relating some of the modern and best authenticated apparitions of angels. We do this, first of all, to stimulate the interest of our readers, and secondly, because many seem to think that angelic apparitions are a thing of the past. We shall then, following the doctrine of St. Thomas, tell our readers all about the angels, who they are, what they're doing, where they are, how beautiful, how lovable, how powerful, how eager they are to help us, and what great advantages we gain by honoring and loving these great princes of heaven. Next, we will recall some of the beautiful stories of the angels which we find in the Scriptures, in the lives of the martyrs and other saints. In the course of our book, we quote striking and well-authenticated incidents from the lives of men and women, boys and girls, living in the world like ourselves. These facts have a special value as they go to show how ready the dear angels are to help not only saints, but all who love them, no matter how modest these may be. We humbly ask the dear angels to help us in this work of love.